Okay, should we get started? So, I want to talk about essentially the earliest part of the universe we can observe. So it's called the cosmic microwave vacuum. So if you look as far back as you possibly can, this is what you'll encounter. It's basically a remnant of the Big Bang. And it's a remnant of the Big Bang right when the universe became hot transparent radiation. So 13.798 plus or minus 0.37 billion years ago, the universe began. It happened on a Tuesday. The universe was very dense and very hot to begin with. And because the universe is very dense and very hot, even radiation couldn't travel very far before it encountered something and interacted with it. So as a result, let there be light wasn't really the beginning. The universe was initially opaque to radiation. So you couldn't imagine light traveling very far before interacting with something. As a result, you can't see light from the very, very beginning. You can only see light from about 380,000 years after the Big Bang. And the light from 380,000 years of the Big Bang is this cosmic microwave vacuum. So it's the first part of the universe that we can see. So, because the universe was much smaller in the beginning, we know the scale factor is increasing with time. Because the universe is much smaller in the beginning, there's also more density in the beginning. So that's where the density comes from. Also, we know the temperature is proportional to the inverse of the scale factor. So because the temperature is proportional to the inverse of the scale factor, because the universe is much smaller in the beginning, it was also very, very hot. So as it's expanded, it's gotten less dense as the scale factor has increased, and it's gotten less hot, also because the scale factor has increased. So we can ask, how hot is the universe today? You look at the universe with a thermometer, you measure it, what temperature do you get? So the history of this is that George Gamow, with his student Ralph Alpher, they'll return next week when we talk about nucleosynthesis, in 1946. And a fellow called Herman, I think Bob Herman, in 1948, conjectured that you could measure the heat of the universe. And they predicted that you would get the sun measured. So independently, Russian collaboration, Soviet, I guess, in 1964, Doroskovich and Novikov in 1964 claim that this remnant is measurable. At the same time, a bunch of Americans, Dickey, Peebles, and Wilkinson, also in 1964, claim the same thing. So this is back when the Soviets and the Americans weren't talking to each other, so they definitely did this stuff independently. And Dickey, Peebles, and Wilkinson, they set out to look for it. And they tried to see whether they could find it. In the meanwhile, one of the great accidents in science was happening. So one of the great institutions in American science at the time was Bell Labs. So Bell Labs was a research wing of the AT&T phone company. And they did some very basic science back in the day. So there were these two guys who were working for Bell Labs. They were named Penzias and Wilson. So Arnold Penzias and Robert Wilson had a 6-meter horn antenna. I'll show you a picture of it next time. And with a 6-meter horn antenna, they were trying to detect radio waves that were bounced off of balloon satellites. These balloon satellites are called the echo satellites. They're bouncing radio waves off them and taking some measurements. So in order to make these measurements properly, they need to eliminate interference from the detector. So because they're looking at radio waves, interference to the detector can cause a radar, can cause other radio waves, for example, AM and FM stations, and this is all a problem. So they have to figure out how to isolate the radio waves we're looking for, the radio waves that were just background. So they figured out how to do this, and they cooled their instrument with liquid helium down to about 4 Kelvin. So few temperatures above absolute zero, the instrument was making these measurements. So what these guys noticed was there was a low, steady, omnidirectional, mysterious hum in their instrument. So they noticed this was evenly spread out across the sky, so no matter which way they pointed their instrument, they measured the same hum. And they also noticed that it didn't matter whether it was day or night. They're doing radio, so it doesn't matter if the sun is up, they can still measure radio waves. So they're doing these studies of day and night. They're finding the same hum, irrespective of where in the sky they looked and when during the day they looked. And they found that this hum had a characteristic wavelength. This hum was 7.35 centimeters. So the frequency associated to this is the speed of light divided by the wavelength, and this is 4 gigahertz, which is the microwave band. So it's this microwave hum that was spread across the sky. So they thought there was something wrong with their instrument. That's the natural conclusion you get when you point it at any time of the day and you point it in any direction in the sky, you get the same thing. And their instrument was this horn antenna, so it was an antenna which was roughly shaped like this. And it was big enough for birds to fly in. So pigeon droppings, they thought, was a culprit. They spent a lot of time cleaning their instrument of pigeon shit, basically. And they found the noise was still there, even with a clean instrument. So they theorized that this noise was coming from outside the galaxy. And Bell Labs is in New Jersey. The nearest big research university was Princeton, and Princeton just happened to be where Dickey, Peebles, and Wilkinson were working. So they had local expertise. So they talked to Dickey and Peebles, and Dickey and Peebles were astonished. This is exactly what they wanted to go look for. They wanted to look for the steady hum, which is everywhere in the sky, and this corroborates the ideas that Ganow, Alford, and Herman had 20 years previous. So they published papers in one of the big journals. It's called Astrophysical Journal Letters, AJL. And they published simultaneous papers. So Penzias and Wilson had a paper which details the discovery, and it's called a measurement of excess antenna temperature at 4,080 megacycles per second. So they were measuring this 4 gigahertz signal, and they explained how they detected that signal. Dickey, Peebles, microwave background. And since then, we've called this a CMB for short. So the main instrument we use today to study the cosmic microwave background is called a WMAP satellite, and the W stands for Wilkinson. So he spent his career basically studying this cosmic microwave background, and our best probes of this are named in his honor. Penzias and Wilson, these guys, won the 1978 Nobel Prize in physics. They shared it with Kapitsa. So this is one of those cases where you make an accidental discovery that makes you very, very famous. It's just happenstance. They happen to be looking at this radio signal, and they discovered something fundamental about the universe. So luck really helps. So that's the history of this story. If we look at the early universe, we can see remnants of it everywhere we look. Okay, so I want to now state some facts about observing the cosmic microwave background. Okay, so the fact is, and we'll see explanations of these facts as we continue. So fact one is that at any angle you look, theta and phi. So theta goes from 0 to pi, basically describes the part of the sky you're looking at, and phi goes in a circle. So it measures, so by specifying theta and phi, you can look at any part of the sky. So at any angle, theta and phi, the spectrum of the CMB is an almost perfect black body. So remember that black body radiation follows Planck distributions. We know the statistics of the radiation. It's peaked at a certain frequency or wavelength, and it goes like this basically. So the fact that you're looking at 4 gigahertz is basically referring to the peak, but there is some spread around that peak. And that spread follows black body distribution, and it's almost a perfect black body. And when you make the measurement, you superimpose it on this curve, the error bars are minuscule. So it matches this curve. Okay? So, in fact, the COBE telescope, the Cosmic Background Explorer, found that the deviation from the black body was 1 part in 10 to the 4th. So up to a factor of 10,000, it follows this distribution perfectly. Okay? And we can measure the temperature of the black body. The temperature is 2.72548 plus or minus 0.00057 Kelvin. So first of all, this is ridiculous precision for a temperature measurement. And you're measuring the temperature of the sky, basically, when you make this measurement. So that's pretty amazing. The way you do this measurement is you're pointing your telescope at some angle, and you integrate over phi, and you integrate over theta of t of theta phi, the measurement you're making at some direction of the sky. And you find this interval gives you this answer. There is a sine theta, by the way. So the integral d theta sine theta d phi gives you 4 pi 4 clouds cancel, and this temperature is iterated over the sky, basically. Okay, so that's fact 1. So fact 1 has a minor caveat. The caveat is there's a dipole distortion. Dipole distortion is that 1/2 of the sky is blue shifted, and the other half of the sky is red shifted. So there's a Doppler effect that basically makes 1/2 of the sky slightly higher temperature, and the other half of the sky slightly lower temperature. What do you suppose is the origin of this Doppler effect? How do I finish that sentence? What causes the Doppler effect?
Things going towards and away from us.
Something's moving. That's what accounts for this effect. So what could possibly move it in these measurements?
Well, the universe is expanding, so
It's not the expansion of the universe. Where are we making these measurements, firstly?
So we're making them from Earth.
Yes, we're making them from Earth. The Earth is moving. That's the Doppler shift.
Okay.
So the satellite itself is moving. The satellite is